The very first code we're going to look at is the Caesar shift code. Now, there's more detailed information on the kind of historical origins from this on the attached PowerPoint from Professor Stupples from City University. But very briefly, the code takes its name from Emperor Julius Caesar. He used it to communicate with officers in his army across the Roman Empire. Now, it's quite a simple code. The way it works is by shifting all the letters in the alphabet across by a certain number of places. So, for example, if we have a shift of +3, what we would do is move all of the letters along 3 places. So if this is our alphabet, we're going to then shift each letter around 3 places. So in effect, what we have is that the letter A becomes D, the letter B becomes E, etc., etc. So what we can do then, if I was to give you the word virus, let's say, how would you encode that? What would that look like in code? So to do that, you're going to start on the top line. So you're going to look along the top line and find each of those letters. So we can see that V, if I want V, I now need to replace that with Y. So this is going to be Y. If I want I, that's going to be L. If I want R, that's going to be U. If I want U, that's going to be X down here. And then S is going to be V. So now it would be a bit tricky to understand that. You can see here we've got Y, L, U, X, V. That doesn't make any sense. So how would you go about deciphering this code? So if you did see a phrase like that, how would you decipher that? Well, let me just give you one to have a go at here. So this time I'm going to give you the encrypted code. So I'm going to give you an encrypted code F R Y L G. So this time you've got the encrypted code, and what I want you to do is to work backwards and find out what the actual code is. So how would you do that? Well, to do that, this time we're just going to start at the bottom. So we're going to look for F, which is here. So we can see that that is going to give us C. R is going to give us O. And as well as maths here, you can kind of use a little bit of intuition. So you can start thinking about, well, what might be some words which start C, O, blah, blah, blah. So let's keep going, and hopefully we can figure this out without having to decrypt all of it. So the next letter we're looking for is Y. You can see that's going to be V. You can probably see where this is going. L is going to give us I. And G down here is going to give us D, so COVID. Now, having to do that each time can be a bit of a faff. So what we can actually do is to use something called a Caesar shift wheel. So a Caesar shift wheel is going to look something like this. So you can see that on the outside, we have got our letters that we want to encrypt, and on the inside we've got the letters that we're actually going to write. So you can see here that if we've got A and that translates to a D, we can see this is actually a shift of +3. So if we just take the original example we looked at on the previous slide, so let's just show you what this would look like using the Caesar wheel. So you should be able to access the template for the Caesar wheel, and you're just going to need to cut out the large circle, cut out the small circle on the inside, and then use a treasury tag to fasten it to the template on the outside, and then you can make your own one. So ideally use card or something to make it a little bit more robust. But let's just have a look. So we should hopefully get the same answer. So we're going to look on the outside to find V, and then obviously on the inside that corresponds to Y underneath it. And then similarly, I is over here. Where are we here? So that's going to go to L. R is going to go to U. U is going to go to X. And S is going to go to V. And then similarly, if we were trying to decrypt it, we would just go the other way around. So we would, rather than starting on the outside wheel and go on the inside, we would go on the inside and start on the outside. So for the previous one, the first letter was F. For the COVID example, the first letter was F. So you'd look on the inside wheel and you'd find F, and that would take you to C, and then you would get Carolina from the rest of that as well. So here's one for you to have a go. I want you to take your Caesar wheel and arrange a Caesar shift of +2. So what you're going to do then is take the inner wheel and you're going to spin it. Well, if you start with the A on the A, so they're aligned perfectly, and then spin it 2 places anti-clockwise. So on the outside, if you look at the letter A, that should correspond with C on the inside. So I want you to take your Caesar shift, your Caesar wheel, and I want you to encrypt the word enigma. So just try and have a go at that. As an extension, I want you to decode the following using a Caesar shift of +2. So take your Caesar wheel and have a go at that. Okay, so I've written out the alphabet here just so you can see it a bit more easily, but hopefully you have managed to come up with an answer. So first of all, let's have a look at the encryption. So encryption, we're starting at the top and working down. So E is going to give us G, N is going to give us P, I is going to give us K, G is going to give us I, M is going to give us O, and A is going to give us C. So again, if you just saw that, G, P, K, I, O, C, that doesn't really make much sense unless you understand how to decrypt it. So the extension then was to decode. So obviously this is harder. You've got something that doesn't seem to make much sense. ECG, UCT, what's that all about? So remember, on to decrypt, you're going to start on the bottom line here, or on the wheel, start on the inside. So E is going to give us C. C is going to give us A. So again, you can start thinking about words that might be possible here. G is going to give us E. You might be able to guess where this is going. U is going to give us S. C, we've already done that one, and C is going to give us A, and then you can probably predict that T is going to give us R, which therefore gives us Caesar. And that is it. You have completed your training for the first code, the Caesar shift code in this project.